Hello everybody, this is Dragyn and I'm back with another reading video. I am doing something a little different. I recently picked up a poetry collection and I read their first book, Milk and Honey, and I really love the poetry in that collection. But this time I'm going to read the second one by Ruby Carr, The Sun and Her Flowers. I'm going to just go through, read a few different poems, and just kind of talk about my reactions to some of them. So I hope you enjoy something a little different. I got some nice music playing, so hopefully that helps set the mood for some poetry. Let's dive in. So this is The Sun and Her Flowers by Ruby Carr. I believe I'm saying their name right. Ruby Carr. Okay. So I'm going to start with the very first poem in the book, and it's sort of their thank you to their parents. So I'll begin. To my makers, Kamalji, Takar, and such a thing, I am because of you. I hope you look at us and think your sacrifices were worth it. To my stunning sisters and brother, Prabdeep Kaur, Karandeep Kaur, Sahab Singh, we are in this together. You define love. A very sweet little thank you and tribute in a very poetic way. I like it. Okay. Alright. Bees came for honey, flowers giggled as they undressed themselves for the taking, the sun smiled. The second birth. Cute little poem between bees and flowers. Alright. On the last day of love, my heart crept inside my body. I spent the entire night casting spells to bring you back. I reached for the last bouquet of flowers you gave me, now wilting in their vase, one by one. I popped their heads off and ate them. Different kind of reaction, but, you know, who are we to judge someone for doing something like that? Because they're in pain, they're hurting. It makes sense that, you know, you wouldn't behave in a rational way. I stuffed a towel at the foot of every door. Leave, I told the air. I have no use for you. I drew every curtain in the house. Go, I told the light. No one is coming in, and no one is going out. Cemetery. You left, and I wanted you still, yet I deserved someone who was willing to stay. I spend days in bed, debilitated by loss. I attempt to cry you back, but the water is done, and still you have not returned. I pinch my belly till it bleeds, have lost count of the days. Sun becomes moon, and moon becomes sun, and I become ghost. A dozen different thoughts tear through me each second. You must be on your way. Perhaps it's best if you're not. I am okay. No. I am angry. Yes. I hate you. Maybe. I can't move on. I will. I forgive you. I want to rip my hair out over and over and over again till my mind exhausts itself into silence. Yesterday, the rain tried to imitate my hands by running down your body. I ripped the sky apart for allowing it. Jealousy. So yeah, I like that little last poem there, because you can kind of see like her running her hands through the rain. And if you've been very close to someone, you know that like you would run their hands over their body in a very intimate setting. So seeing that, but then realizing what you're actually doing versus what you wish you were doing, I feel that. I feel that. In order to fall asleep, I have to imagine your body crooked behind mine, spoon ladled into spoon, till I can hear your breath. I have to reset your name till you answer and we have a conversation. Only then can my mind drift off to sleep. I understand that. Just, like after a trip to your loved one or being with your loved one and then having to leave them for a while, you miss that. You miss that kind of cradling feeling, like you're safe and warm and you're going to be okay. I understand that. You miss that too. It isn't what we left behind that breaks me. It's what we could have built had we stayed. I can still see our construction hats lying exactly where we left them. Pylons unsure of what to guard, bulldozers gazing out for our return. The planks of wood stiff in their boxes, yearning to be nailed up. But neither of us goes back to tell them it is over. In time, the bricks will grow tired of waiting and crumble. The cranes will droop their necks in sorrow. The shovels will rust. Do you think flowers will grow here when you and I are off, building something new with someone else? The construction site of our future. I think that's actually a beautiful way to think about it. Like right now it hurts and like you just see all the reminders of what you used to have in that relationship and that hurts so much. But I like the end, like the hope there that's pretty present, saying that like maybe flowers will grow here when you and I are off building something new with someone else. There's hope there. It's that sign that like someone else will be there eventually. It's not here with you, but there will be someone else eventually. I think that poem is beautiful. Alright, I'm going to switch to the next chapter. So this chapter, those poems that I just read were in wilting. And I will switch to another chapter in a moment, but there's one more poem I want to read from wilting. It's a long one, so bear with me. What love looks like. What does love look like, the therapist asked, 1 week after the breakup. And I'm not sure how to answer her question, except for the fact that I thought love looked so much like you. That's when it hit me, and I realized how naive I had been to place an idea so beautiful on the image of a person, as if anybody on this entire earth could encompass all love represented. As if this emotion 7 billion people tremble for would look like a 5'11", medium-sized, brown-skinned guy who likes eating frozen pizza for breakfast. What does love look like? The therapist asked again, this time interrupting my thoughts mid-sentence, and at this point I'm about to get up and walk right out the door. Except I paid far too much money for this hour, so instead I take a piercing look at her, the way you look at someone when you're about to hand it to them. Lips pursed tightly, preparing to launch into conversation, eyes digging deeply into theirs, searching for all the weak spots. Searching for all the weak spots they have hidden somewhere, hair being tucked behind the ears, as if you have to physically prepare for a conversation on the philosophies, or rather disappointments, of what love looks like. Well, I tell her, I don't think love is him anymore. If love was him, he would be here, wouldn't he? If he was the one for me, wouldn't he be the one sitting across from me? If love was him, it would have been simple. I don't think love is him anymore, I repeat. I think love never was. I think I just wanted something, was ready to give myself to something I believed was bigger than myself. And when I saw someone who could probably fit the part, I made it very much my intention to make him my counterpart. And I lost myself to him. He took and he took, wrapped me in the word special until I was so convinced he had eyes only to see me, hands only to feel me, a body only to be with me. Oh, how he emptied me. How does that make you feel? Interrupts the therapist. Well, I said, it kind of makes me feel like shit. Maybe we're all looking at it wrong. We think it's something to search for out there, something meant to crash into us on our way out of an elevator, or slip into our chair at a cafe somewhere, appear at the end of an aisle at the bookstore, looking the right amount of sexy and intellectual. But I think love starts here. Everything else is just desire and projection of all our wants, needs, and fantasies. But those externalities could never work out if we didn't turn inward and learn how to love ourselves in order to love other people. Love does not look like a person. Love is our actions. Love is giving all we can, even if it's just the bigger slice of cake. Love is understanding. We have the power to hurt one another, but we are going to do everything in our power to make sure we don't. Love is figuring out all the kind sweetness we deserve, and when someone shows up saying they will provide it as you do, but their actions seem to break you rather than build you, love is knowing whom to choose. A very long poem, but I really love it because I think that we need those reminders in our life that just because you thought love was a person and love was just with that person, it's not all that there is. Love exists in so many different ways between friends and family. But I love that second half of that poem where she talks about it's in yourself. You have to love yourself and learn more about yourself in order to really understand what love is about. I think that is a huge and deep meaning from that poem, and I really resonate with it. As someone who's also going to therapy and having someone ask all those hard questions, it's so important to figure out those answers for yourself. So I really like that poem. I really, really do. Okay. Some poems from the next chapter. The next chapter is called Falling. So I'll go through and find a couple poems. I reduced my body to aesthetics, forgot the work it did to keep me alive. With every beat and breath, declared it a grand failure for not looking like theirs. Searched everywhere for a miracle, foolish enough to not realize I was already living in one. So there's that idea that, people want to dress up and look a certain way and make themselves feel like other people or want to be like other people. But really who you are right now is exactly who you need to be. And it's a miracle that we are here on this earth looking the way that we do. So I like that poem. The irony of loneliness is we all feel it at the same time. Yeah. We all feel lonely sometime in our lives, but the amazing part is that if you're feeling lonely right now, there is someone out there who also feels lonely. It's a shared experience, loneliness, and I really like that. That poem is called Together, and just realizing that other people feel the same way you do really, really helps. Wish pure love and soft peace upon the ones who've been unkind to you, and keep moving forward. This will free you both. I like that. We can be angry at everyone that's done us wrong, that has been awful, that hurt us, but it's really, really important to still wish them well. It's what you put in the universe that you get back. So if you really start thinking about compassion and kindness for even the ones you don't like, you will get that back someday. That's good karma. Yes, it is possible to hate and love someone at the same time. I do it to myself every day. Isn't that the truth? We can love so many things about ourselves, but it's always the things that we don't like that stick with us and can bring us down at a moment's notice. Like, for example, today, I really love the way that my hair is right now. I feel styled, like I feel like it's styled nicely. I love the way that my clothes are fitting on my body today. But then I can take one look in the mirror and I'll see something I don't like. And all of that comes crumbling down and I begin to hate myself again. It's a hard relationship with yourself, but it takes time, and you know, it's okay. It's okay. Somewhere along the way, I lost the self-love and became my greatest enemy. I thought I'd seen the devil before, and the uncles who touched us as children, the mobs that burned our city to the ground, but I had never seen someone as hungry for my flesh as I was. I peeled my skin off just to feel awake, wore it inside out, sprinkled it with salt to punish myself. Turmoil clotted my nerves, my blood curdled. I even tried to bury myself alive, but the dirt recoiled. "You have already rotted," it said. "There's nothing left for me to do." Self-hate. Yeah, there's that idea, when you're suffering so much and you can't find a way to like yourself, that you do all these things to just feel something, and that's where, reaching out and talking about it would be way better than doing those things. Mental health is so important, and the way we perceive ourselves in the world. Yeah. It's hard. Really, really hard. But there's a way out. There is always a way out. And the way you speak of yourself, the way you degrade yourself into smallness, is abuse. That is a form of self-harm. We tend to picture self-harm as, like the physical things that you do to yourself, like hurting yourself, and doing those things. But self-harm is also the things that you say about yourself. That's why, we need friends, and we need family, and we need like really positive support systems in our lives so that they can fight those things we say about ourselves. And for us not to feel so small, for us to feel seen. Okay, I'm going to go through and now read about 2 more poems from the next couple chapters. So the next chapter is called Rooting. So if we follow this progress of the flower, wilting, falling, and now rooting, this is probably the beginning of setting yourself up again and kind of building yourself up to something else and something better. Bombs brought entire cities down to their knees today. Refugees boarded boats, knowing their feet may never touch land again. Police shot people dead for the color of their skin. Last month, I visited an orphanage of abandoned babies left on the curbside like waste. Later at the hospital, I watched a mother lose both her child and her mind. Somewhere, a lover died. How can I refuse to believe my life is anything short of a miracle if amidst all this chaos, I was given this life? Circumstances. Yeah, our world is so hard. There are so many things going on, and there's so many things wrong with it. But if you realize just how amazing it is that you are here in this moment and you're okay compared to everything else going on, that is a small comfort. Really, it is a small comfort compared to not having that feeling or not having that realization and thinking your life sucks all the time. It is amazing that you and I are here today and we are going through what we're going through and still moving on day by day. It is amazing. For years they were separated by oceans, left with nothing but little photographs of each other, smaller than passport-sized photos. Hers was tucked into a golden locket, his slipped inside his wallet. At the end of the day, when their worlds went quiet, studying them was their only intimacy. This was a time long before computers, when families in that part of the world had not seen a telephone or laid their almond eyes on a colored television screen, long before you and I. As the wheels of the plane touched tarmac, she wondered if this was the place. Had she boarded the right flight? Should have asked the air hostess twice, like her husband suggested. Walking into baggage claim, her heart beat so heavy she thought it might fall out. Eyes darting in every direction, searching for what to do next. Suddenly, right there, in the flesh, he stood. Not a mirage, a man. First came relief, then bewilderment. They'd imagined this reunion for years, had rehearsed their lines, but her mouth seemed to forget. She felt a kick in her stomach when she saw the shadows circling his eyes and shoulders carrying an invisible weight. It looked like the life had been drained out of him. Where was the person she had wed, she wondered, reaching for the golden locket, the one with the photo of the man her husband did not look like anymore. The new world had drained him. It's so exciting and amazing to kind of be that connected with someone again. But realizing that, in the time apart, they've changed. It's a hard realization, and it creates so much doubt and uncertainty. But it's good. It's good. Okay. Next chapter, Rising. When you start loving someone new, you laugh at the indecisiveness of love. Remember when you were sure the last one was the one, and now here you are, redefining the one all over again. A fresh love is a gift. Yeah, you're always going to have that idea of redefining who you are, but also who you need in your life and who is the one. And that's kind of exciting, realizing that if you don't like where you are right now, you will change and it will get better. And everything will change. So there's that small little glimpse of hope in her collection again, in these poems. If I'm going to share my life with a partner, it would be foolish not to ask myself, 20 years from now, is this person going to be someone I still laugh with, or am I just distracted by their charm? Do I see us evolving into new people by the decade, or does the growing ever come to a pause? I don't want to be distracted by the looks or the money. I want to know if they pull the best or the worst out of me. Deep at the core, are our values the same? In 30 years, will we still jump into bed like we're 20? Can I picture us in old age, conquering the world, like we've got young blood running in our veins? Checklist. I like that idea. We all have those doubts in a relationship. Will I be with this person in 20 years? Do we believe in the same things? Are we compatible? Do we still have that chemistry? We all have those doubts, and I think that's beautifully worded in this poem. Okay. Last chapter is blooming, which makes sense. The life cycle of a flower. So now we're blooming, we're blossoming. Beautiful brown girl, your thick hair is a mink coat not all can afford. Beautiful brown girl, you hate the hyperpigmentation, but your skin can't help carrying as much sun as possible. You are a magnet for the light. Unibrow, the bridging of two worlds. Vagina, so much darker than the rest of you, because it is trying to hide a gold mine. You'll have dark circles too early. Appreciate the halos. Beautiful brown girl. You pull God out of their bellies. Look down at your body. Whisper. There is no home like you. Thank you. I love that. I know this is particularly to herself, the poet, Ruby. But I think we all need to do something like that for our bodies and just realize that this is home. This is who we are. And we need to accept it and believe that it is home. Last poem for the video. I made change after change on the road to perfection, but when I finally felt beautiful enough, their definition of beauty suddenly changed. What if there is no finish line, and in an attempt to keep up, I lose the gifts I was born with for a beauty so insecure it can't commit to itself, the lies they sell. So again, you know, like that idea of growing and growth and like really looking at yourself and feeling beautiful and understanding that your idea of beauty is changing with every ounce of appreciation you have for yourself and your own form of beauty. It's really important to have that self-identification of beauty. I really love that. Alright, we're going to wrap up with just this last one because I think it's a really nice way to kind of end it and think about even our year of 2020. So here we go. The year is done. I spread the past 365 days before me on the living room carpet. Here is the month I decided to shed everything not deeply committed to my dreams. The day I refused to be a victim to the self-pity. Here is the week I slept in the garden. The spring I wrung the self-doubt by its neck. Hung your kindness up, took down the calendar. The week I danced so hard my heart learned to float above water again. The summer I unscrewed all the mirrors from their walls, no longer needed to see myself to feel seen. Comb the weight out of my hair. I fold the good days up and place them in my back pocket for safekeeping. Draw the match. Cremate the unnecessary. The light of the fire warms my toes. I pour myself a glass of warm water to cleanse myself for January. Here I go, stronger and wiser into the new. I really love that. That last poem is just a good idea. You know, thinking about all the times in the year that you're like, I'm changing, this is it. I have to do this for myself. And realizing that those moments are the good moments and keeping yourself reminded of those things throughout the year is so important. Yeah, you know, we've had so many bad things happening. But when you've made a decision to do something and you go and do it, that needs to be celebrated and honored. Not just from others around you, but for yourself. So that is something I think we all can work towards. Thank you guys for joining me on this little journey through the poetry collection of The Sun and Her Flowers by Ruby Kaur. I hope you liked it, and I'll see you the next time I do a reading video. Bye!